Hello, wicked friends, and welcome back to another episode of our fall DIY crafting series. So we are also working on some items for our journal books that we're doing here in this series. This is the Nostalgic Childhood Memories series that we're working on, and I am actually going to be using this spine that we pulled off the original book and turning this into a charm dangle to hang off the back of my journal. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. Subscribe, turn on that little notifications bell, and make sure it is set to all so you receive all of my notifications. All right, so let's get started with this video. Okay, so I have the spine of the book that I picked in my mystery book pull. I got East of the Sun, and West of the Moon. As you can see, this is what it looks like now. We put a new spine on the back. We covered it in vintage fabric, did a nice little lace trim accent. And so that's what it looks like now. But before we did this, it was this spine right here. So I saved the spine because I wanted to make this spine a charm. So what I'm going to do with this is I am going to use my crafting knife and my straight edge. So I have my straight edge and I have my crafting knife, and I also have a few other little items that I'm going to use to turn this into a charm. So I have these little these are like little pinch tabs that have a hook on the top to hang a charm from. You can get a kit on Amazon with all kinds of different little findings like this. I will link that in the description of the video. So this is the one that I'm going to use for this particular charm that I'm going to make. Now, in addition to those, I also have a few other things. I have a lobster claw clasp like this one. You can also get a bunch of lobster claw clasps, decorative. You can get plain ones, all different kinds. The kit that these come in also have little clasps as well, but I wanted to do something a little bit more decorative, so I'm using this one right here. I also have a bunch of different jump rings that also come in the jewelry findings kit that I'm going to link. And then I have a few little extra things. Now I might use some other things in addition to this, but I have a little retro cassette player charm, and this is a little acrylic charm. And then I also have a little Candyland charm that I made out of one of those little mini Candyland game board boxes that you can get from those mystery boxes that you open up. So I have those two, and then I have a little pom-pom. So I think I'm going to use those charms on this charm dangle, but like I said, I might add a few other things here and there as well. All right, so let's get started putting this together. So once you have your spine cut off your book, and if you want to see how I did this, go and watch the first video in this journal series. I will link that in the description as well. All right, so I am going to flip this over to the back. Now, as you can see, this spine is actually kind of rounded, and I want to cut off this rounded side. Usually I like to cut from the back, but I'm going to cut from the front on this one, only so that way I can push this down. So we're going to just lay my flat edge on, and I'm going to push down that side right there that's kind of bumped up, and I'm going to use my knife, my craft knife. You can get these from Dollar Tree, and I am going to just cut off that bumped edge just like that. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. As you can see, there's that little rounded edge. Do the same thing on this side. Just going to put my straight edge on there. I'm going to push it down just so I get a nice flat piece that I can work with. There we go. All right, so now our spine is fairly flat. So now what I want to do is I want to fold my spine in half like this. I'm just going to kind of pinch it together, fold it in half, pinch it together. You can use a bone folder for this if you want to get a nice flat fold out of that. Now, the ends of the spine are already folded over, so they're really already finished on one side, which is good. I'm going to take my Fabrifix and I'm going to just glue this together. So I'm gonna put a good amount of Fabrifix on this to glue these two sides together. And I'm making sure the edges are really good as well, so that way this will stick together nicely. All right, so we'll just pinch that together, trying to keep it as flat as possible. So there you can see that is like the printed side or the printed portion. And then there's a little printing here, but there's not much on this one. So that will be the back part of the charm. All right, also there's a little bit of the edging that you can still see. We can go in afterwards and kind of trim that down with just some scissors. I just want to make sure that this is nice and flat and that the glue is sticking together so it doesn't like pop open. All right, so let's just take some scissors and let's just trim off that excess. I think that was the only spot that I really had any. So I decided to take a little extra bit of the fabric that I used for the spine. I had a little piece left over and it's actually going to fit perfectly. And I'm using my pinking shears for this because I want that nice like chevron or jagged edge like a pinking shear gives you. So what I'm doing is I'm taking my little book spine. So not on the printed side, on the opposite side where there's not a lot of printing, I'm going to take more glue and I am just going to load that up and we're going to glue this right to our fabric. But I want to make sure, I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter if you don't have an edge that's already cut with the pinking shears. My edge is already cut with the pinking shears, so I'm actually just going to load this up very close to that edge. I'm not going to go right to the edge, but very close to the edge. All right, and we're just going to push that down into the fabric so that it sticks. I'm going to flip it over and just give it a good rub. Use your bone folder to kind of just make sure that fabric is pushed down into that Fabrifix nicely. All right, just like that. Then, like I said, I'm going to take my pinking shears and see how I have just a very small little edge like that. That's what I want to do. I want to just have a very small little edge of fabric from my pinking shears. So I'm just carefully cutting that little edge all the way around. I'm going to even up the top because the top isn't even. Okay, so now you can see I have this like little trim all the way around. Now what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to glue that up so that that little trim kind of wraps around, and do a little light strip of the Fabrifix glue just along that edge. I don't want to cover up the words on the front of the charm, but I want to wrap that, I just want to wrap that fabric around into, like, so that those little triangles kind of just wrap around our charm. Now, this might be a little tedious to get it to stay, but it will stay. You just got to kind of hold it there. Fabrifix usually works pretty quickly. And we're going to do that same kind of process all the way around. All right, so we have our little charm. It's all dry. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my little clamps here. These are the little clamps that you can clamp onto fabric. You can clamp onto something else and turn an item into a charm. So I'm going to grab my pliers and I'm going to just make sure that my little clamp is open right here. And at the top, I'm just going to put one of these little clamps right over the top. And we're just going to use the pliers to just pinch that shut on one side, and we'll pinch it shut on the other side. And now we should have a nice little spot to hang the charm from. And we're going to put another one at the bottom as well. So again, just putting it over the base, pinching that shut on one side and then pinching it shut on the other side. All right, so now we have the little hooks at the top so we can hang our jump ring and then lobster claw, and then we can hang some charms off the bottom. Move that aside. I've got my little jump rings. I've got my charms. All right, so let's add a jump ring to the top. And again, I'm going to use my small little needle nose pliers for this. We're just going to take one of these little jump rings and open it up. And we're going to slide it through that little top hook. And then we're also going to take our clasp and slide that through. And then we are, whoops. And then we're going to just pinch it shut. Just like that. So now we have our little clasp at the top of our charm. And I'm going to take our other little charms that I want to dangle off the bottom and use jump rings down there as well. So we're just, again, opening it up, putting it through, and we're going to put one in. This is the little tape deck. The vintage tape deck, acrylic tape deck. I had one very similar when I was a kid to listen to my mixtapes I would make. All right, so there's one. Let's do another one with the little Candyland box. And let's see, I just want to make sure that I'm going to have this going the right way. I want it the front facing out. So there's another one. Okay, pinch that shut. There's two little charms. Actually, two would probably be fine. I probably don't need any more. I was going to add a little pom-pom on here as well. I don't even know if I really like the color of that pom-pom. Let me see if I have a different color. Yeah, let's do the black. I think the black is cute. All right, for this one, I think I'm going to do maybe a couple of jump rings on this one, only because I think it needs it. So we're just going to do multiple jump rings on this one just to give it a little bit of a hang so that it hangs down slightly and it's not, you know, going to get stuck on these two. I'm going to just do two little jump rings on that one, and we'll put that right through as well if I can. All right, so now we got three little charm dangles that hang off of the bottom of our charm. I think that is very cute, very nostalgic and retro. Goes with the theme of our journal, childhood memories. And then we are just going to take this little charm dangle it right from the charm holder on the side of my book, and it's a perfect, literally a perfect size charm for my book. Love it. I think it's so cute. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, turn on that little notification bell so you're notified when I post new videos. All right, we'll see you guys again in the next video. Take care.